I follow them all the way.
Nancy texted me and asked for my phone number.
I'd like to call the Mentor City Council regular meeting for April 2nd, 2024 to order. Invocation tonight will be given by Councilperson Dowling.
Heavenly Father, we thank Thee for this day. Help us to use good judgment for the business at hand and guide us in wisdom with a continuing sense of truth and fairness for the community we represent.
All right. Julie, please call the roll.
Mrs. Dowling.
Here.
Mr. Freeman.
Here.
Mr. Kirchner.
Here.
Mr. Krieger.
Here.
Mr. Marne.
Here.
Mr. Blake.
Here.
Mr. Donovan.
Here.
Hey, Council, you are in receipt of minutes from the March 19th, 2024 work session.
Move to approve. Second.
Julie, please call the roll.
Mrs. Dowling.
Yes.
Mr. Freeman.
Yes.
Mr. Kirchner.
Yes.
Mr. Krieger.
Yes.
Mr. Marne.
Yes.
Mr. Blake.
Yes.
Mr. Donovan.
Yes.
And also the March 19th, 2024 regular meeting minutes.
Move to approve. Second.
Julie, please call the roll.
Mrs. Dowling.
Yes.
Mr. Freeman.
Yes.
Mr. Kirchner.
Yes.
Mr. Krieger.
Yes.
Mr. Marne.
Yes.
Mr. Blake.
Yes.
Mr. Donovan.
Yes.
Okay. Public hearings, we have none. Tabled legislation, we have none. New legislation, ordinance number 24-0-029.
An ordinance imposing a temporary 6-month moratorium on the establishment of new and the expansion of existing vape stores and head shops in all zoning districts in the city and declaring an emergency.
Okay. Joe, would you like to start off on this?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President, members of council. This grew, of course, out of your work session, as well as some of the public comments that the council had received at prior public meetings. Again, this is a 6-month moratorium. It's really to provide, as council discussed, an opportunity to review the business operations from a zoning perspective for some of these establishments. Again, questions were raised about the products that are on offer for sale. I'm not talking about nicotine products. We're talking about, other things that were potentially problematic, as well as the operations themselves. And so the moratorium, therefore, does not affect any existing businesses, certainly doesn't require any closure, would not allow them to increase their floor space. That's part of the expansion that's referenced. But again, hopefully at the end of that 6-month period, a better picture will emerge relative to the operation of these businesses in the city. And with that information, further review can be conducted from a zoning perspective. Thank you.
Ken, anything to add?
Thank you, Council President. I would probably just add that a while back, Council had a guest who produced a number of products in front of you that suggested that they were perhaps not legal products being sold, and our police department did review all of those products and found that they were all within legal limits. That is not to say that we necessarily think that they're good products for sale to either the public or certainly products that might fall into the hands of minors. So that may or may not have any impact on how you weigh this ordinance in front of you. I just wanted to follow up with that on council, and I know Chief Gunch is here if you had any questions for him, or Chief, if you wanted to make any comments on that.
Thank you, Mr. Filipiak, members of council. The different vape shops and the head shops and the gas stations that are selling the different Delta 8, Delta 9 variants of usually below 0.03% THC or equal to 0.0 THC, which is legal in Ohio. I know that right now the governor and the legislature are maybe looking at that to try to change that, which I really believe that they should, but until that time, those products are legal. That's what's being sold in the area between those vape shops and the gas stations and convenience stores. Other than that, nothing illegal right now, but we are keeping our eye on that.
Okay, thank you.
Done.
Council?
Mr. President,
Yes.
a good question for the law director. You have it down at 6 months. Is there a reason for the timetable of 6 months? To me, a year would be more appropriate, because if there was something we have to change, as a legislative body, we could always go back and change it, instead of having to review this every 6 months.
Well, yes, the moratorium, again, was to allow for police department review, and as indicated, I think there were some issues with it to the business operations. It's really council's judgment as to how long its comfort level is for the administration and yourselves to look at these businesses from a zoning perspective and ascertain whether, some further controls may be required or relative to the districts in which they locate. A year-long moratorium is a little unusual, not necessarily unlawful, but certainly a little unusual. I would suggest that if it comes to, I'd recommend the 6 months, a little bit more norm when we're looking at these types of zoning moratoriums. And as you approach the end of that period, it may be that additional time is necessary for further research and study, in which case council can always extend the moratorium if it's warranted based on, that review process. But the idea being that it's the process should start in somewhat expeditious manner and continue on, so that a business that may be interested in expanding isn't unduly burdened by not being able to do so, and likewise. Property owners and businesses looking to locate, will have a fairly short horizon as to whether they may be able to do so. So again, I certainly recommend the 6 months, although it's certainly council's discretion to bump that out a little bit. But I would suggest that you may want to revisit in 4 or 5 months and see where the process is coming along.
Mr. City Manager, Mr. Malachek, when we were talking about this about 6 months ago, what city do you recall you saw was first to adopt this? And do you remember how long it was? I could have swore it was a year. Is it Brunswick?
I believe it was Brunswick, but that may have also been car washes, because that was another thing that was discussed.
Okay.
I have to research it and see.
Okay. Okay, well, as long as you think it's 6 months is okay, we can always revisit it.
We'll put car washes in
Do what we
there,
got to
too.
do. All right, thank you, sir. Both of you.
Move to
Thanks.
suspend.
Second.
Julie, please call the roll.
Mrs. Dowling?
Yes.
Mr. Freeman?
Yes.
Mr. Kirchner?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes. Move to approve.
Second.
Julie, please call the roll.
Mrs. Dowling?
Yes.
Mr. Freeman?
Yes.
Mr. Kirchner?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Okay, ordinance number 24-0-029 has been approved. Next is ordinance number 24-0-030.
An ordinance approving and authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement on behalf of the city of Mentor and the Mentor Part-Time Firefighters Association wage reopener to provide a retroactive 3% pay increase retroactive to March 26th, 2023, and declaring an emergency.
Ken?
Thank you, Mr. President. And council, as you're aware, our part-time firefighters' labor agreement is 1 year removed from the full-time labor agreement of our full-time firefighters and all of the other city union agreements. So effectively, the last year of their agreement is the first year of all of our full-time contracts. So we have traditionally included a wage reopener for them to allow for negotiations to go forward with the full-timers, so that it provides some information and informs our negotiations. We've done so in this agreement. We have agreed to a 3% wage reopener, which would be retroactive. So it would be effective through March 26th of 2023, which is consistent with those labor agreements and the non-bargaining proposal that council has subsequently adopted.
Okay. Council?
Move to suspend.
Second.
Julie, please call the roll.
Mrs. Dowling?
Yes.
Mr. Freeman?
Yes.
Mr. Kirchner?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Move to approve.
Second.
Julie, please call the roll.
Mrs. Dowling?
Yes.
Mr. Freeman?
Yes.
Mr. Kirchner?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Okay, ordinance number 24-0-030 has passed. Next, we have resolution number 24-R-103.
A resolution authorizing the city manager to prepare and submit a grant application to the Ohio Department of Natural Resources Recreational Trails Program for improvements to the 2-mile trail system at Wildwood Cultural Center and declaring an emergency.
Ken?
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll ask Mr. Grippy to come to the podium and offer some insight on this, please.
Thank you, Mr. Filipiak. Thank you, President of Council and Council. This grant application to the Ohio Department of Natural Resources is for a $216,000 project to improve the surface of the trails with compacted stone. Of that $216,000, they're going to be asking ODNR for $150,000 to buy material. Our contribution will be $66,797, or approximately 31%. Of that money, we will provide in-kind services. Our engineering department will design the trail. Our employees with the Public Works Department, as well as the Parks and Recreation Department, will actually install the improvements. I've checked with the state of Ohio, and they usually fund about 10 of these projects a year, and they tell me they like to have, they don't want to do it in phases, and they want to give out awards of $150,000. So we're going to give them what they want, see what happens.
Great, that's going to be a fantastic improvement there. Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Council?
To suspend.
Second?
Julie, please call the roll.
Mrs. Dowling?
Yes.
Mr. Freeman?
Yes.
Mr. Kirchner?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Move to approve.
Second?
Julie, please call the roll.
Mrs. Dowling?
Yes.
Mr. Freeman?
Yes.
Mr. Kirchner?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Resolution number 24-R-013 has been approved. Second readings, we have none. Third readings, we have none. Manager's report, Ken.
Thank you, Council. Council, we have two open cut requests for your consideration this evening. The first is on Steeplechase Drive. It's a request from Pulte Homes for the installation of a new 8-inch water line, which is related to the Phase 3 of the Brookview Reserve Development. It's been reviewed by our engineering department and ask for your approval.
Move to approve.
Second?
Julie, please call the roll.
Mrs. Dowling?
Yes.
Mr. Freeman?
Yes.
Mr. Kirchner? Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes. Thank you, Council. The second request is from Aqua, Ohio. It involves actually 4 open cuts in total on Atkins Road and Reynolds Road for the replacement of a new 8-inch water line along those 2 roadways. Ask for your concurrence.
Move to approve.
Second?
Julie, please call the roll.
Mrs. Dowling?
Yes.
Mr. Freeman?
Yes.
Mr. Kirchner?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes. Thank you, Council. In other news, the City of Mentor will be hosting a free eclipse watch party next Monday, April 8th, from 1 to 5 p.m. at the Mentor Civic Amphitheater. Featured guests will include Dr. Marie Henderson, a planetary scientist from NASA, and Tim Henderson, research associate geologist with the National Park Service's Geologic Resources. We will also have WEWS's meteorologist Mark Johnson and Katie McGraw, and several of our friends at the James E. Garfield National Historic Site. This family-friendly event will feature games, activities, and a DJ. Refreshments will be available for purchase from area food trucks, and a limited amount of eclipse glasses will also be available for attendees. The Mentor Civic Amphitheater is located at 8600 Munson Road, and we do have information about the event on our website as well. And we advise our public and anybody who's visiting with us, the traffic is expected to be heavy throughout all of Mentor, as well as Northeast Ohio and Lake County on Monday afternoon, so we appreciate everyone's cooperation and patience as this very unique event happens in our community. Related to that, Council, waste collection pickup on April 8th will begin 1 hour earlier due to the solar eclipse. Mentor residents who have waste management, curbside trash pickup on Monday are asked to have their garbage at the curb no later than 6 a.m. so the crews can be off the roads by the time the eclipse gets started. With the removal of the buildings on site, construction of the new senior center parking lot is expected to begin next week. The completion date is May 31st, although it will likely be delayed some with the expectation of some bad weather days ahead of us here and what we always expect during the spring. Also, Council, I'm happy to say that we've been working with First Energy on a plan to completely relocate the power line entering the Marina and Nature Preserve. We've talked about this in the past as an option, It has generally been cost prohibitive in the past, but given the ongoing loss of land due to lake wave action, neither we nor First Energy feels that continually moving the trail is a practical and feasible solution in the long run. So the new line would come from the south off of Harbor Drive, and would also provide what we believe will be some much-needed improvement to reliability out there. So I'll keep you informed on that. We have gotten a preliminary layout from them. We think we have a favorable cost-sharing agreement that we're working on, so we'll keep you updated on that as we go. And then finally, Council, we have some new businesses to announce. Mentor Smokes at 6966 Heisley Road.
Good timing.
It just got in under the wire, right?
Good timing.
Furlong and Company Insurance Agency at 8810 Tyler Boulevard, and Beyond the Toy Box Event Styling, Balloons and Supplies at 7537 Menor Avenue. So we do thank them for their investment in our city, and we wish them great success going forward. And that's all.
Mr. President?
Yeah.
Just a question, in case I missed this. We did steeplechase, which I didn't have on the schedule here, but we had on the schedule here 7313 Hanover Drive for a payment cut.
No. That's an error.
Did I miss something on that, or?
Yeah, steeplechase is correct, Councilman. I think there was an error in the first distribution that went out to council,
Yeah, the
and that was
second one.
corrected, but steeplechase is the correct
Okay.
road.
Well, I figured that because we had it in there, but I didn't know what happened to 7313 Andover. So we don't have a payment cut request for Andover, I take it. Right?
Yeah, that was a previous approval some
my
time
fault.
back.
My fault.
Mr. President? Mr. Flipiak, the poles down at the marina there, are they running east to west now? Is that where they were running? East to west, and those poles are all going to be removed?
That would be
And then
our-
you'll be coming in from Harbor, you said Harbor Drive. Are those poles on the north side of that path yet, or are they close? The poles that are running east and west, are those
They are-
close to going
they are-
in?
South.
You talking about the new alignment, or?
Oh,
or
the
for
ones that are there
existing?
now, aren't they running east to west?
Yeah, Mr. Kaminsky?
Thank you, Mr. Flipiak. Yes, Councilman Donovan, the telephone poles that are running east to west, running parallel to the shore, is drastically affected by the erosion. Just this weekend, in 2 sections, we lost about 8 feet of land, and it actually moved on to the existing path, even close to the path that Public Works just moved for us. And that was a big concern when we met out there with the electric company.
Thank you, just in time, I guess.
It is just in time, and, it's obviously unpredictable when we have more storm action coming, and, again, these mild winters have really just decimated our shoreline, so our master plan and plans and our current pursuit of funding to get that moving forward couldn't come any faster than it has. But the nice thing is, with the relocation of these lines and poles, again, I mentioned enhanced reliability, but we'll also be able to remove all of those that run through the preserve now, and it'll obviously make it a little bit more attractive, perhaps open up some new areas for recreation.
Thanks.
All right, thank you. Clerk's correspondence, Julie.
Council is in receipt of the Menor Municipal Court month-end report for February of 2024, and council is also in receipt of a liquor license change in stock for Quickies Menor Ohio Ltd. DBA, Quickies Drive-Thru at 6285 Reynolds Road. And that is all.
Okay, thank you. Committee reports. Council, you have the meeting minutes from the Municipal Planning Commission dated February 29th, 2024. Old business. New business?
Mr. President?
Yep.
Is our Mr. Jeff out there? Thank you, Jeff. Mentor Public Library is giving out 2 pairs of glasses for free on Monday. So anyone that needs solar glasses, go to Mentor Public Library. Thank you, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff. Good. All right, persons before council. I see none.
Oh, real quick, congratulations to Mr. Kaminsky. He has a baby on the way, going to be due any time now. So congratulations on being a grandpa. It's your baby, you're a grandpa. That's what happens.
Congratulations, buddy.
You just give them back when you're done, that's all. Congratulations.
All right.
You almost said his retirement schedule way back.
Way back. Right.
Mr. President, I move to adjourn into executive session pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 121.22G1 to consider the compensation of a public employee.
Second?
All right, Julie, please call the roll.
Mrs. Dowling?
Yes.
Mr. Freeman?
Yes.
Mr. Kirchner?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
President, I move to go into regular council session.
Second?
Mrs. Dowling?
Yes.
Mr. Freeman?
Yes.
Mr. Kirchner?
Yes.
Mr. Krieger?
Yes.
Mr. Marne?
Yes.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Were you going to drink that ice cold
was
coffee?
thinking- yeah, I like